welcome to the Santos Says podcast, episode number 12. I'm your host and your boy, Santos, proud owner of Santos Threads. Make sure you check us out at Santos-Threads for the latest and greatest in men's and women's sportswear, urban streetwear apparel. SANTOS-THREADS.com. Welcome everybody to episode number 12. Happy to be with you once more right here. And on this episode, we have a special guest. We're going to talk about, first of all, let's make sure you guys follow me on Santos Thread Shop at Instagram, as well as on Facebook at which Facebook I don't engage much there, but follow me at Santos Threads Official. So now we got those out the way. On this episode, we're gonna have a special guest. This woman who will be joining me momentarily is a rapper. Not only does she rap in English, she raps in Spanish as well. She does the Dominican urban music called Dembow, which is a little similar to reggaeton. It has reggae influences. So Dembow. She's an actress, a singer. I even heard she had a bachata song as well. So she's going to join us. Her name is Fraze. So we're going to be joined by Fraze here today on the Santos Says podcast. So I'm very much looking forward to welcoming her to the show. She's going to tell us what she's up to. And we're also going to, on this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the Dominican legacy in hip hop. I think the Dominican legacy is very underrated in hip hop, and it's a story that's very, that quite frankly is not often told, or not told often enough, I should say. And so it's a story. I think we should talk a little bit about that as well. And so I'm looking forward to getting into all that with her. And I'll definitely ask her as well what she thinks about the Latino legacy overall in hip hop. It's interesting. So like when it comes to Latinos in hip hop, definitely, Puerto Ricans get credit. When it comes to Latinos in hip hop, I think a lot of us often think of Puerto Ricans, especially when it comes to the States. Think of Puerto Ricans and Mexicans on the West Coast. For sure. Those are the two groups that we think of primarily. And so it's easy to get lost, to lose sight of the fact that there are other Latino groups that have been putting it down in hip hop. We've had Latinos from all walks of life, whether they're straight from their mother countries or who have heritage from other mother countries that are, radicated here in the United States. Certainly the Dominican history is a little different, in that, Dominicans were around. Remember, paint the picture for you. 1970s really was when, the late 70s was when hip hop came out. And at that time, really, a lot of the Dominicans that were coming here from El Cibao, especially into New York City, that were coming from the Cibao region of the Dominican Republic, a lot of the Dominicans that were coming in, they weren't quite Americanized yet. So hip hop wasn't quite embraced on that level quite yet. And then what would happen was you would have another generation of kids born, in particular in New York, that would come up and that grew up on hip hop. So that was what happened. And then you started seeing those influences of the traditional hip hop in the Dominican community in New York. So that's where you started to see that. So, but without further ado, I'm not going to continue to ramble on. I have my guest here. She's here waiting to be led in the conversation. I want to introduce. Welcome to the show, Fraze.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. How are you?
How are you doing? Or frase.
La dos cosas, both.
Vamos a hacer esto en Spanglish, because I have an English-speaking audience, but I also have a Spanish-speaking audience. So, we'll do it that way. Le doy idioma.
Está bien.
Nice. Thank you. First of all, thank you for joining me. It's good to have you.
Gracias. Thank you so much for having me.
A la orden. Definitely. Definitely. So it's funny how this came up, right? This whole thing came up because my very good friend, Warren Britt, introduced me to your work.
I love Warren. Shout out to Warren. He's the best.
Shout out to Warren Britt. Let me tell you.
and he's a really excellent rapper.
He is, yeah. Well, okay. So funny thing. We used to rap together.
Nice.
Yes, I used to rap. Yeah. So we know each other on that level. We have songs we recorded together a long time ago. And so I stopped. Since then, I put the mic away. Well, I picked up another mic. I don't rap no more, but I talk. So I'll tell you real quick. So he introduced me to El Arrival. That song that you had. I know it was a couple years back, right?
Yes. LRD. Shout out to LRD. He's awesome.
LRD, yes, exactly. On that platform, so I saw on Brap TV, yes. LRD was on the production, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my notes, right? Because he sent this to me. He said, "What do you think?" I swear, it was so random. It was the most random thing ever. And he sent it to me. So I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm blown away. And the reason I'm blown away is because you dominated both. Like you threw Spanish in there at the end. I would say the last 10 bars or so, maybe, or 8 bars. And you blended it in so nicely. And I thought, and then I said, okay, she's Dominican. I didn't even have to, I knew. And I told Warren, I said, oh, she's Dominican, right? Woman says, how'd you know? I'm like, okay, Peralta, number 1. And number 2, the accent. I picked up on the accent. So great. It was tremendous. I love how you brought that in there. And to be honest with you, my favorite thing one last thing about that song that caught my attention was when you said, yo prefiero ser pobre que esclava de él. Esclava de él.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. So like translation, I'd rather be a slave than to be his slave. I'm sorry, I'd rather be poor than to be his slave.
Right.
Tremendous. I love that. And so kudos to you for that.
And I was actually talking about money and men, right? So I was talking about 2 things. I'd rather be es mejor ser pobre a veces y que tener dinero y todo eso. So, you know, I was talking about 2 things.
No, es que es muy cierto porque hay mucha gente que tiene dinero y son miserables, son unos miserables, se sienten, you know, nothing is enough. Yep. They get to that point where nothing is enough, and that's a scary place to be.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
So, well, all right. So I will ask you about this, right? I loved it. It blew my mind. So then that's when I had to look you up. I had to see, you know, what else you were about. So we'll get into this. So what are your roots? Like where did you grow up? Tell me about yourself. How did you get into rapping? And you know.
Déjame hacer algo antes de empezar esto, but I will be right back. I'm like, I have beans that I'm making.
This is authentic. This is the raw right here, the Santos Looks podcast. La mujer está cocinando habichuela. She's cooking right now, and this is raw. This is, you know, right now we got Fraze. She's coming right back. There she is. She's back. Yeah, okay. She's here. There she goes. All right. All right.
I'm from Esperanza Mao, so I was born in the Dominican Republic. I came when I was around 5 years old. So I was like, you know, I did the whole schooling system here in New York. So I moved to Hell's Kitchen, and, you know, I was on 49th Street and 8th for a long time. So, you know, I love my little neighborhood. And now I'm actually, you know, down in the Flatiron district. So I'm no longer from Hell's Kitchen, but soy de Esperanza Mao. So I'm, you know, originally born in the Dominican Republic, came here when I was young. So
it's interesting. No, definitely. And I was mentioning earlier in my prelude that, you know, Dominican Republic really, you know, especially in New York, the influence of people from that region of the Dominican Republic, because I'm Puerto Rican, but I know a lot about Dominicans. My wife is Dominican. Like, I know a lot about the culture. So like that region in New York have had a relationship for decades. Like that was part of the, you know, like that region, Cibao, Santiago, all that area. Yep. And so it's interesting to see that dynamic always. It's been there for so long.
Definitely. And I'm like an hour away from Santiago. So, you know, if you have to go anywhere, you probably pass my town in the Dominican Republic. So
yeah, no, definitely, most definitely. So that's definitely, and I noticed that you were multifaceted. Like I had mentioned earlier, I was thrown off. I heard a bachata from you.
Yeah, so Baby J is a really amazing artist as well. He's a really great songwriter. He wrote a bachata, and he was like, you know, what do you think if you like sang on this? And he was like, hey, try it. And I did, and I liked how it sounded. And, we went ahead and did a video for that. And that was really exciting because that was the first time at that time that I'd done that. So
I bet. I mean, it's awesome to see the versatility. That was one of the things that I noticed. You had that versatility. I heard that. I heard your Dembow. Obviously, we'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about the Dale Dembow that we hear that song. Very catchy, right? Very catchy, and we'll talk about that as well. Who were some of your influences? Because I know it's tough to we in New York, right? We can be influenced by so many things. So, who were some of your influences coming up?
So when I was like in middle school, my brother Sandy had this Vico C album, right? And I kind of like stole his Vico C album, and I would listen to him. And he's Puerto Rican, I believe he's Puerto Rican. Don't quote me now, but Vico C is really really dope. I love him. And
Vico C is Puerto Rican. I don't know if you're friends.
So that's what I'm saying, right? So
yeah. Vico C is Puerto Rican, yes.
Obviously Sandy Papo, and these are people that I would listen to Proyecto Uno. That influenced me on the Spanish side. But obviously, when I came to New York and I was listening to all types of music, I'm influenced by Lauryn Hill. I absolutely love her. I'm influenced by Rod Digger. I love Rod Digger. I used to listen to the Lyricist Lounge, and she had a really dope song on there.
Underrated. Totally. Rod Digger is one of the most disrespected MCs in the history of mankind. So nice.
Like, she is dope. Like, she really deserves her flowers. She's really dope. So those are like, some people that influenced me. My favorite artist on the whole entire planet is Juan Luis Guerra. Yo, can't nobody talk to me about that man. He's the best, because I started like writing poetry when I was younger. Shout out to Urban Word. I will write with Urban Word. So something that he would do is like, like make poems and make beautiful music out of poetry. And it's, it really took me back when I was in a college class, and one of my teachers from Jamaica was like, and now we're going to listen to Lisa Para un Sueño. And I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. Like, it's just like the influence that this man has. It doesn't matter whether or not you understand everything he's saying, he still speaks to you. So
yeah, Juan Luis Guerra is one of the all-time greats, and obviously, we would be remiss to not mention the death, passing of Johnny Ventura, one of the all-time greats, recorded with everybody. I mean, with everybody. I mean, even like my family in Puerto Rico, like even they were playing his songs for Christmas. Like it was
I saw
what we
that Germany, some place in Germany posted about him as well and his passing. So I shared that. I thought that was pretty cool. So
amazing. Yeah. No, listen, those are the.
So yeah. Absolutely.
No, it's tremendous. Listen, anytime you have these greats, you have to cherish them while they're here, because you don't know now, God bless Johnny. Johnny lived a long time. He lived a full life, and we never want to see them go. That's the crazy thing. We want to hope, but the music lives on. The legacy he left is there. It's up to this generation and the ones to come to carry it and to continue with his legacy.
Absolutely. And I actually have a merengue too. That's funny. So
see, I gotta hear the merengue. I've heard a lot of your music. I went to your, I went to SoundCloud. I heard a lot of your music and obviously some of your videos.
Bueno, yeah. Okay.
That's your older material, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where you had the lyricist. You were a lyricist. A lot of your lyricism was being shown there.
Yeah, stop. No mentira.
No. Listen, that's called. Listen, that's the other part I was gonna mention. Your transition from hip hop to Dembow, is that something that you're looking at long term? Because Dembow is a genre that is exclusively Dominican, right? Mm-hmm. And it's trying to kind of get to that next level where it's more international. But at the same time, it looked like your roots were kind of like really like that hip hop. Talk to me, like what is that? Which one is your preference, and which one would you say is like speaks more to you?
I would say Dembow is something that I'm definitely versatile, like you said, right? So there's many sides to me. There's definitely a party side, and I think that Dembow speaks to that. To cuando uno quiere estar en el party, quiere salir, quiere estar en el teteo, right? So there's that side of me, and then hip hop is more like where I get to tell my stories, right? Like La Reina, where I talk about that one time I got my heart broken, and it never happened again. So, and what I prefer to do, like I will pick, and it's so funny, like my producer friends that are like really amazing, by the way. I'm not gonna mention no names right now, but like some really amazing producers that work with major artists. They'll play me beats, and I'll be like, "Yo, I want that beat," and they'll be like, "I can't give that to you. It'll be like the hardest beat on the whole, roster." And they're like, "I don't know, I can't give you that beat." But I always gravitate towards like hip hop for sure. But I definitely want to make more than both because I feel like there's space for all of that.
100%. And I agree with you. I mean, listen, I'm a hip hop head myself, but I do love, a mí me gusta la música tropical. So like I'll listen to what they call, right? That's what the mainstream masses. So that meaning bachata, merengue, salsa, whatever, even vallenato, whatever, right? It's funny you mentioned Proyecto Uno.
Yes.
Proyecto Uno and Sandy Papo. We didn't notice this at the time, right? But what they were doing was really hip hop based. It was it was rhythmic. It was all hip hop based. It was inspired. Even Fulanito was very hip hop based.
And Fulanito, thank you very much for mentioning them as well. Definitely a part of the groups that influenced me. I love them, and some of these people that I mentioned actually follow me on Instagram, and I'll be so excited about this shit. Like Fulanito follows me, some people from Proyecto Uno follow me, so it's really, really, really dope to get kind of like their acknowledgement in that way. So that's pretty cool.
It must be, yeah, it must be great, to have that validation in a way, right? To have that respect from some of the people you grew up listening to.
Yes.
Like I wanted to mention Magic Juan too. Magic Juan does not get respect. We got to put respect on Magic Juan's name. Magic Juan, a lot of people don't know this. His first album was in 1991. He started out rapping in English. A lot of people don't know that. He rapped in English. People don't realize this. Now he had some Spanish in there too, but his vision was to be a mainstream hip hop artist. Maybe the first album didn't produce the results he may have wanted per se, so he went to another lane in Spanish. So I always thought, and Born MC as well is another one who's legend who passed. Obviously, Magic Juan's alive, but so just those people, I just wanted to make sure we give them their flowers because they were there, at the beginning of the whole movement.
Definitely. And like you said, they were doing it in the beginning. So, when I was listening to them and they would seamlessly go from English to Spanish, I'm like, all right, well, we can have a girl doing that. Like, I want to do that too. Entonces, por ahí nos fuimos. I'm like, I like the song. I want to, make a song like that for girls. So, por ahí se fue.
No, es que es súper importante. We have to recognize the people, the pioneers who opened the doors. You have to. And so, we'll get into this, right? Like with Dominicans, it's very interesting history, super interesting because like I mentioned, as some sirens pass by my building. So it's interesting because like it was very and this is part of what I respect also about Dominicans in general is that they kept it very true to their element in that they may have tried to do something in English, and if they saw it didn't work, they decided to go into the natural language of Spanish, and they did that, and they represented that, and they stayed true to themselves, and I actually respect that. I have a great deal of respect for that. There's a lot to be said for that because it wasn't always going to be it wasn't an easy journey, is what I'm saying, for Dominicans to get on mainstream, at least from historically. So what do you think about that? There's just seeing that whole journey, how we mentioned some of the greats that the ones that you looked up to.
Well, that's on the Latin side, right? So then we're here and we're talking about the English market, and we thought for a long time, we lost one, but it doesn't matter. I'll leave that one. So Cardi B.
Wait. Who are you gonna mention?
Well, it doesn't
you're gonna talk about somebody from Dipset?
No, Joel. No. Okay, so I didn't know that Joel's was from. I didn't know he was Dominican.
I don't know if he's full, but definitely he's part Dominican for sure, at least. I'm not sure. Probably he is full, but in any way, I'm sure if he identifies as it, then he is.
Right. Like, I didn't know that. No, who I was going to mention was, So I'm not sure if he's Dominican. I feel like at some point there was a story that he was Dominican. So I was like, oh yeah, he's Dominican.
Go ahead. We're gonna talk about it. Go ahead. Go ahead. I could try to
run DMC, right? But didn't we think?
You know what's funny? It's so interesting you brought that up. You're not the first person who says this. I've heard this rumor, and I don't know if it's true myself.
A rumor? I thought he
You're talking about DMC. You're talking DMC. Yeah, yeah. Very interesting. I'll tell you, if that's the case, that's a big one. That's a big
one because we thought he was Dominican, and you know, I was like, oh, that's lit, and you know, then we're not sure. But that's cool. But you know what's funny? I had to like Google all this stuff. Like I don't really know artists for where they're from. Obviously, we know Cardi's Dominican. We know Fab's Dominican. Jewel's, I didn't know Jewel's was Dominican.
I'm down on Fab. I'll tell you what. Go ahead. I'll let you finish. I'm very much down on Fab.
I feel you. And you know, I've been thinking about whether or not like, you know, I want to talk about like music versus people's personal lives. Like I don't know.
It's tricky. It's
tricky.
Because
if we're talking about like him as an artist, like he's one of the people that has never had a whack verse. So it's like so sad to me that, you know, now I have to talk about something else when it comes to Fab.
100%. No, I agree. Listen, I agree with you.
I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And
we don't know what happened, right?
Behind closed doors. But if it's true, obviously that's really disappointing and that's really disheartening because he is a great artist, you know, and not because he's a great artist. So I'll take the because out, and he happens to be a great artist. So.
Well said. No, I agree with you 100%. Look, we're seeing it now with R. Kelly. Now, obviously, R. Kelly's a whole different situation, but there's people who who compartmentalize music. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. No. Like just R. Kelly. Like you know, and he does have great music as well. But that's crazy, and you know.
So
I hear you. Yeah.
So before we go left, right, with that,
I'm like, wait.
No. My only point was just like it's hard to differentiate music from the person, right? So, but DMC would be a big one, like you mentioned. But there's more. Listen, I got some for you. I compiled the list. I got some Dominicans for you.
All right, Demon.
Okay. Juju from the Beat Nuts is Dominican.
Yes. Okay. That I also knew. Yes.
Juju from the Beat Nuts, who actually is an underrated MC. He could rap. Like Juju could rap, and he is one of the producers. He can rap and make beats. People don't like, put respect on this guy's name. He's been around forever, since the early 90s.
Word up. I hear that. Yes.
So that's one. J.R. Ryder is Dominican.
Yes. So J.R. Ryder is Dominican. I know that Bodega Bams is Dominican.
Bodega Bams is half, but yes.
Half Dominican. Okay. Who else? I feel like I'm on a game show. Like, I don't know. So like
Triple Sage from the Terror Squad.
Okay.
Is Dominican. Like full Dominican. Triple Sage from the Terror Squad. It was with Pun. He was like this with Pun.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, we talked a little bit about him on one of my other episodes with Cuban Link. We talked a little bit about him.
Yes.
What else? And AZ.
AZ's
half Dominican. His last name is Cruz.
Who else is half Dominican? I feel like, there's a couple people. Like I said, I didn't know this at the time.
I know. Yeah.
It's not like I'm like, oh yeah, like this person from here. Let me see, But when you find out somebody from your country, obviously is like, very exciting, and you're like trying to support.
100%. And the only problem with that, I'll be honest with you, because I do the same thing with Puerto Rican people too. Don't get it twisted. I do the same thing.
Kirkle Bangs and half Dominican. I didn't know that.
También 40 Cal. También is another one. I got another. There's a bunch. Yeah, but they're all half. So it's like it's tricky when you're dealing with half. It's tricky because you don't know how Dominican they are. Well, you know what I mean? Like what?
Right,
like tú eres dominicano. Oye, tú eres de lo mío.
Tú naciste para allá, viniste like, right. I understand.
Yeah. And what's his name? Dave East as well.
Yeah. So I was surprised Dave East was Dominican. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a bunch. It's just, it depends also on what it's how much do they represent it, how much do they identify with it. That's always what you want to know, I guess. But it's tricky to kind of, to gauge that. How do you gauge that? But that's but you got a bunch on the list.
No, we got people. We got a whole crew. hay un juego de básquetbol.
Es un juego de béisbol, mejor dicho.
So that's lit.
No, béisbol también. So here's my other thing, right? So do you consider, so since you mentioned Cardi B is a very controversial figure, but very successful in her own right. What are your views on Cardi B as far as her, the artist, and then secondly, what she represents image-wise and just who she is?
I love Cardi. I think Cardi, she does a lot of things that people want to do, like that women have, women are multi-dimensional. They have a lot of sides to them. So she, talks to a side of women that maybe we want to be like more liberated and be able to talk about. And she does it and it's like, oh, that's lit. So I love Cardi and I love what she stands for. I think she's a really dope entertainer. Her breath control is crazy. She's really good at what she's doing. I like her songs, so I'm a fan of Cardi for sure.
I respect what she's done for the game.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's nobody telling, Jay-Z not to rap because there's a Nas. There's nobody telling, you know what I'm saying? So like she brings something to the table that why can't she be a rapper? Let her be a rapper. There's so many male rappers. We need female rappers. Like I always look at the flyers and it's like, damn, all these men, and they'll be like one woman. But like it's always like really strange or like, oh snap, like a female's participating in this, you know what I'm saying? But usually it's like a whole bunch of men and like nobody questions that. So there's space for everybody.
See, I love that you brought that up because let's get into that. Let's get into that part right there. I like that way you said that. See, so many people mention like who's the top 5 dead or alive, and nobody ever mentions a woman in that conversation. For whatever reason.
I think Nicki gets mentioned. Didn't they have like the rap statues, and they were thinking of like who one of the faces was going to be, and I think they chose Nicki, and it was like like men on there, but she was one of the females, I think. So
I'll tell you something.
Okay.
I'm sorry. No, I'll tell you something about Nicki. I'm glad you mentioned Nicki. To me, Nicki, pound for pound, out of the modern era, there's been a lot of great women. You mentioned Lauryn Hill before. Lauryn Hill is one of my favorites too. Pound for pound, Nicki can out-rap anybody. That's me. Now, everybody's got their opinion. I like Cardi for a different reason. I think Cardi can make hits. She can make records. That's a little different than saying, okay, I'm going to get Jane Doe into the booth and she's going to spit bars, right?
Right.
It's not the same thing. So Cardi to me has a place on a commercial level. As far as making songs, she's got it. She's got the image. She's a hustler. So it's different to me.
Right. And then Nicki?
With Nicki to me, okay, Nicki made hits, but to me, Nicki, I've heard enough material of her that I hear her just go nuts. Like she can.
Her pen is really crazy. So I really, really, really love Nicki.
Yeah, and I hate the notion that
like the bar is high, the standard is there, like always. You know what I'm saying? Like you're never gonna get a whack verse from Nicki, and that's dope. So
100%. That's my point as well. I feel like she set the bar high. But another thing that bothers me though is you notice like there can't be 2 females appear at the same time. That bothers me because it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like, oh, this woman is up.
Right. I feel you, and that's what I was getting at. Like, there's so many men that are out there, doing their thing that like nobody questions that, and it would be out of place, or it would be shocking if like Nicki and Cardi were both performing at the same spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the city, like I don't know, it would just be like, oh, are they doing a collabo? Like it wouldn't be because they're all performing there. So I think it's interesting the way they treat females in the game. But like I said, I think there's room for everybody. So that's why I'm still doing what I do. So.
No, definitely. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I think it's interesting that you bring that up because I feel like there is room for more females. You can never have enough female, right? There's still a deficit of a shortage of female MCs, especially Latina.
Okay, definitely. I feel you. There's a shortage in general, but I feel there's a shortage everywhere. And see, I obviously I'm Latina, right? And there's people in Germany that don't understand what I'm saying, but they'll listen to my music. And it's crazy when people hit me up and they'll be like, I don't know what you're saying, both in English and in Spanish. I get it in both. Oh, I don't know what you're saying, but I like it. And, as long as people are still liking what the the feeling that they're getting from it, they don't necessarily have to understand. So, I'm going to keep experimenting and see where that's going to take me in both languages.
That's good. See, that's gonna go to my next question, right? So, pound for pound, or gun to your head, right? Which one is like if they say, okay, they're gonna lock you in a studio for 100 hours? What album we working on? We working on the Spanish album, the English album,
Man, we gonna
or
make hasta uno típico.
típico perico ripiao?
Yeah, like I don't want to box myself in. Like I wanted to do like a rock song, and Napoli, who I work really closely with, we share a lot of ideas in the studio. And at one point, he was like, "Yo, why don't you write to Smells Like Teen Spirit?" And just doing some stuff that's like really, really out there that like people aren't doing that they wouldn't expect. You know what I'm saying? So I did like a little verse to Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I was like, yo, I want to do like a rock song. Entonces you like me in the studio for that long, you're gonna get all types of albums.
I respect that. No, I definitely respect that. So, háblame de Dale Dembow. Where did that concept come from for that song?
So Dale Dembow is a song that like I just wrote out of nowhere. And I wanted to do something for like the party, and it originally was gonna be a song called Dale Conto, which I also did. So now I got two songs. Dale Conto, which eventually led to Dale Dembow. And the way that happened, I recorded Dale Conto with my producer Napoli, and we did that version. And I wrote like, I'm gonna say like four verses, full verses for Dale Conto. And what ended up happening is that we didn't use all of it, but I knew that I really wanted Dale Dembow to be a dembow, like by itself and a hook. So I got a chance to meet MR Musical, who's really dope.
Oh wow, okay.
Really, really dope rapper. And La Cabina Musical invited me over, and they were like, "Yo, let's do this song." I came through, and I was trying to think when we were gonna record, and I was like, "Yo, I got a dembow, like let's do this." And we recorded it in like 15 minutes. It was awesome. Wow. And then he got on it, then Loco Maca got on it, and ahora tenemos a Dale Dembow. And it's a really dope song. It's a fun song. I love their verses. A mí me encanta lo que ellos dicen. I be trying to sing along with them. We were recording the video, and like some people just randomly was there, like, yo, can we be a part of this? Like it was really all very organic, and that's how I like. When I plan things, it doesn't work, pero tú sabes, when you just do it, and and it's impromptu and things just happen, like it works out really well. So the video came out really cool because these people that like were just walking by were like, yo, let me be a part of this. So that's Dale Dembow. And we're gonna start promoting it. We're gonna push the song, and we're gonna see how it does.
Good. So definitely tell us about that. I want to hear about your definitely. What are you planning to do to promote it? How are you gonna push the record along?
So we're gonna start by putting it everywhere, right? So that's the first thing. We're gonna start paying for it to be out there. So I know.
Right. YouTube and all that stuff.
Right, also big that we do a promotion. I did like Instagram works really well for promotions actually. I tried like a little Instagram thing to see if it would work, and it got a lot of views and like people coming to my page. So I was like, okay, vamos, let's try Instagram, and we're really just trying all the avenues and seeing what was gonna work. I sent it to all my DJ friends so they have it, so you might hear it when you're out there chilling. People hit me up and they're like, yo, I heard your song, like so tú tal vez lo escuches por ahí. We distributed it to the people that I thought, would like it and be like, yo, vamos a ver qué pasa. So.
It's very catchy. I love, tiene la base, tradicional de dembow. And it's like
musical. He's so dope at that. Un genial, de verdad que sí.
I love the bass line. Yeah, the bass line it bangs. Like it just hits. It's and it's catchy as hell. Like
yeah.
It's catchy. I saw you like that counting the money and stuff. Like this is crazy. Like cuarta, see. Like I was like, oh.
So yes, we're gonna promote that song because it's a good one. And then Molestoso is a song that I wrote a while ago. So Vamos a ver qué pasa. Because you know when people listen to one song, they'll be like you did. Let me go listen to something else and see what this is about. So, you know.
Yo te iba a preguntar, mira, te iba a preguntar de Molestoso. Yo escuché ese tema, I was like, oh my God, ese tema fue escrito para mí. Yo sé, no, yo me decía Molestoso. It was funny. That was a good song. Your lyrics on there were crazy. Like you hit it right on the head. So kudos to you for that. That's a good song. I was gonna tell you about that song as well. I like that one a lot. Super dope song, and so I just love one of the things, like I said, that I liked was your versatility. That's crazy. And then I look and I see que you're gonna have a movie or a comedy. Tell me about it.
So I'm starring in this movie called the Boogie Movie, which I'm very excited about, and my friend Luis Miranda is putting it together. I call him Macho. So Macho's putting this movie together. He's the founder of the Concourse Film Festival in the Bronx, and it's all, you know, about shedding the light on Latino work. And you know, we have an amazing cast that's hilarious. Mark Rain plays what I'll call my love interest in the film, and Jay Messiah plays his best friend. You know, there's some really, really amazing characters that you're gonna see, that you are gonna recognize, you know, and so it's really exciting that everybody just organically again came together to do this project, and it's turning out to be something that, you know, we can all really be proud of. So that's gonna come out. I'm thinking like next summer, they said. So we're gonna do a press tour, and that's also something that we're doing right now, which is, you know, letting people know that we're making this movie. So.
You gotta keep keep me posted. I need to know about this.
It's gonna be funny, so
definitely. You gotta let us know so we could promote it. We could put it out there, let people know about it. You know, because that's what this is all about to me. One of the ideas I had for when I came up with this was just really, you know, celebrating Latino talent such as yourself, and really building those relationships, not only with myself, but building the relationships with you and others as well. Right? It's about networking, and it's about, you know, positivity.
Yes, and I'm all about networking and positivity. So
exactly,
you're ratchet though, so just bear with me.
Listen, sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a necessary evil.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, who are your? I guess since we were talking about rapping in English and Spanish, who are some of your favorite MCs in Spanish or del patio de la República Dominicana?
I really like Tokisha. I think she's really dope. Again, gives me Cardi vibes, just does whatever she wants, and it's like, all right, well, there's space for me too, and I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. So I really love her. I think she's really dope. Del Patio, you know, I like the big, I like everybody else like.
Melly Mel.
So, oh my God, I love Melly Mel. I met her twice. She's the shit. Definitely Melly Mel. I love her. A mí me encanta La Perversa. I love, you know, what she's about. I like her songs. They're catchy. I like the way she dances. I'll be like, oh girl, you know what I'm saying? I can't even do that. Ni con el chin que tengo yo. So, you know, I like to support stuff that, you know, it might not be necessarily what I do, but it's like, yo, that's dope. And I respect that it's being done, because there's, again, space for that. You know, I like all the females in Spanish that rap. They're dope. So.
That's good. No, respect. That's great. You know, that's what it's all about, really, just building and uplifting each other. And I think that's dope that you could take something from all of your influences and kind of bring it to life and make it your own. That's what we all do. I do the same thing with everything I do as well. Like, you're able to learn and build off of all the greats. I think one of my favorites was El Lápiz Consciente.
Yes, I love El Lápiz for sure. I got to,
you know, OG.
Yes, dope. Definitely, I love him.
You know, he's one of the OGs, and I always liked his lyricism. I don't think he gets appreciated a lot as well either, as much as he should, because he kind of has that.
He good. I think tú sabes, yo creo que él está heavy.
Está bien, ¿verdad? Está haciendo bien.
Está bien. And he also has a clothing line, tú sabes.
I saw that.
You know, like other avenues. So I think that's pretty cool. Melly Mel tiene su hats, so you know, I think she's really dope. Like, I've heard her freestyle like a couple times live. Like, yo, es que una dura. Like, she's
una dura de verdad.
You know, if there was anybody that like I would want to work with, I would want to work with Melly Mel. She's dope, like legit. And
I'm telling you, yeah, super official,
Yep.
super official. So I'm gonna make a left turn here now. This is not controversial, but what I'm gonna say, because a lot of my friends have talked about this before. I've heard people mention this, and I think it's so overblown, right? In
Yeah.
your estimation, especially in New York more than any other place, is there a rivalry between Dominicans and Puerto Ricans?
Okay, so we're gonna settle this right now. Check this out. This is what we're gonna talk about, right? Yo fui para Puerto Rico por la primera vez. Yo estaba en San Juan como por un día. Then we went to Ponce, right? Y se fue la luz. And I'm talking about this the first day we there. I don't ever want to hear de que somos diferentes, que qué sé yo.
Yeah, I know.
Es lo mismo. Y es más, I met like 4 Dominicans over there as soon as I got off the planes. Es lo mismo. Que tú sabes su diferencia. But yes, there's definitely a perceived rivalry, right?
Ridiculous.
And hopefully, and when I was younger, it was more like negative, right? Como que, oh, no, I don't like Puerto Ricans. Or, oh, no, I don't like Dominicans. But now that I'm getting older, I feel like it's more like a positive, not positive, pero tú sabes, like friendly, like.
Right. It's not negative. Yeah.
It's not negative. Like, okay, like let's make this song. Like, I'm gonna make this song. Like, we cook like this. You know what I'm saying? Like
a friendly competition. Competition. Right.
I wanna see, like, tú sabes. So I love Puerto Ricans. And you know that's so funny that you're with the Dominican because I talk about this all the time. There's something about Dominican men and Puerto Rican women and Puerto Rican men and Dominican women. Well, the mix is there. It doesn't matter.
All the time.
Puerto Rican siempre se mezclan.
Always, bro. That's why I always say, like, I never understood it. It's crazy. Like, you go to Puerto Rico, like, there's like 100,000 Dominicans over there.
Yeah, yo fui a comer en un café. You know, I was in a cafetería y the lady was Dominican. Cogí un taxi and the lady was Dominican. I was like, yo, pero aquí es más dominicano que boricua. ¿Dónde están los boricuas? Let me find out I went to DR.
No, but es que you were in San Juan. You were in San Juan. In San Juan, you won't see a lot. You gotta go a lot of because either they're workers, either the Dominicans that are there are working there or they reside nearby. The Puerto Ricans, they're not all in San Juan like that no more. A lot of them leave. They don't want the city. It's too crazy. They want to leave. That's what it is. So they go to you gotta go to the Campos. You gotta go to the other,
Ponce is not the Campo.
No. Well. No, Ponce is the second big city. Second biggest city. But no, I mean, you got to go to Bayamón. Bayamón, there's Dominicans too, but Bayamón is a lot of more Puerto Ricans. But like, if you go there, if you want Santurce, that's Dominican food. Like Santurce. There's beach, there's all kinds, there's everything there.
Yeah, I think I've been to Santurce for sure.
De la mejor comida over there, for sure.
Oh, I love Puerto Rican food, definitely. It was really good.
Well, it's the same. The food is the same. It's different names.
Yeah.
Different names, but the food is so similar. It's not even like, that's why I used to always get mad when people would try to like stir up this controversy. And I'd be like, dude, what controversy is there? Like, it's manufactured to me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I have no problems with my Puerto Rican people. I love Puerto Ricans. Adiós, no somos locos. Like we said, it's the same thing.
Exactly. Well said. So let me get into this, but I wanted to, who are your top, so I guess I'm going to put you on the spot. Who are your top 5 MCs of all time? It could be anything, any era, whatever you want to, just top 5.
Top 5 dead or alive?
Top 5 dead or alive.
Okay, so definitely Lauren. And do they have to be in order? Because I don't.
No particular order. I have a hard time putting them in order too.
I don't know if I could do this. Listen, definitely Lauryn Hill, Jay-Z, Kanye West. I love Kanye West.
That's a good one.
Oh my God. Definitely Left Eye. And I got one more. And I got one more. Whew. And there's somebody I'm missing for sure. Obviously, Biggie. Biggie inspired my little flow and Celebrate. I definitely borrowed some of his stuff from me.
Really interesting. This Biggie just Biggie just had this. He was like water. He was his flow was just his pockets, his cadence, and his breath control was nuts. Just the way he got on the beat is just was. You could tell. See, people who know the game, and I'm sure you know this as well. Like you could tell. People say, "Oh, well, Biggie didn't write." Whatever, that's crazy that he didn't write. To me, that he used to go off the top of the head. To me, I listen to his style, right? And I'm like, I listen to his style. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense that he didn't write. It makes sense that he didn't write because to me, I hear his flow is just like so natural, like he didn't write. So to me, it makes sense he didn't write. It just made him that much more of a genius.
Word. Him and Jay-Z have that, right? I think he doesn't write either.
Yeah. They don't write. They don't write. They just go. They rehearse it, and they'll improvise on the way and they'll add things.
That's a talent. It's really hard to freestyle. Like I really respect anybody that can freestyle and do something really dope, like off the rip. So.
100%. So tell me, before we finish here, I just want to make sure that. Tell me what to expect. What we can expect from you. Just let us know about your music. What can we expect next?
So right now, what I'm really, really going to finish is the movie. So you can expect to see the Boogie Movie, which is coming out next summer, and it's going to be hilarious. You can expect to really enjoy that. And we're definitely going to be working on another Dembow with Garciel, who is a dope artist, in the world in general. But he reached out to me, and I wanted to do a song with him, so we're really excited about that. And we're gonna keep experimenting. So me and Eme are gonna do another Dembow. So I'll be experimenting in Dembow for a little bit.
Nice. No, that's awesome. That's great, and I'm glad to see that you're out there. You're not afraid to take chances. I think this is a lot of us, we get scared to take chances, and so I like that you had one certain niche. And you're finding another niche, and then you experiment with something else. I think that's dope, and keep doing that. Keep pushing the culture forward, because again, Dembow is an extension of hip hop.
Definitely,
it really is. And so I definitely I give kudos to you. I salute you for what you're doing. Give your shout outs. Any shout outs you want to give out there? Say what's up to everybody.
Shout out to everybody in the Boogie Movie. We're really excited that all those people are part of it. Like I said, we have Mark Rain, we have Jay Messiah, we have Louis Miranda, we have Frankie. I don't want to mess up your last name, Frankie, my bad. Some really, really amazing people that are part of the production that I don't want to mention because then they don't know. So yeah, that's another story. Ese otro live y otro tú supiste.
No, claro.
But shout out to Napoli, and to all my followers who just really are awesome, and they be like sending me all these really dope messages that just make me want to keep making music because I know somebody's listening. So it's very exciting.
Tell them your Instagram.
So my Instagram is Fraze Online. That's FRAZE Online. No spaces, all of that. Se puede decir frase. People don't usually know how to say my name. So Fraze or frase, la dos cosas. So.
Perfecto. No, thank you for joining me. I know we're kind of pressed for time, but thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on. Anytime, keep us posted on what you're doing, and with the Boogie Movie especially too. We're definitely looking forward to seeing that. So that's it. Any last words? Let the people know.
You're the man.
Warren, yo, peace to Warren. I'm trying to get Warren on here soon. It's funny that I haven't had him on before. I had you before I had him. He's such a busy guy. That's my guy.
So that I'm gonna be listening to that as well. So
thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you. Make sure you check out Fraze. Check out the Boogie Movie. Stream Dale Dembow right now, right?
Dale Dembow. Moletosos out.
Moletosos
out. Celebrate is out. Yeah.
These are all out. Check them all out, and definitely and look out for that movie coming out as well.
Yes, the Boogie Movie.
The Boogie Movie. All right. Thank you, Fraze. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anytime.
Thank you. Have a good one, y'all.
Have a good one. Peace. Well, that was really good, man. That was interesting, and I want to thank my guest, Fraze, for joining me. She's got a lot going on. Definitely very talented, and looking forward to seeing what the future brings from her. And yeah, man, that was episode number 12. You guys make sure you follow me on Instagram at Santos Thread Shop. And don't forget to visit the shop, santos-threads.com. Also, make sure if you're watching the YouTube video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get that interaction up. Definitely. And as always, don't just say what you mean or mean what you say. Say it with your chest. Peace.